Recently, a video came out from I don't know if he's still actor, but Michael Rappaport. Actually, I liked him in the Boston Public and stuff like that. It's pretty good there, and I don't know if he's still acting, but apparently he's still a media personality. And he gave reasons, why people should wear a mask, and I agree with him. However, it came off a little bit as left leaning. So I want to set the record straight that it doesn't have to be something left leaning, and I'm gonna give my opinion on here why. Like, okay, to begin with, one of my closest friends and a mentor recently passed because of COVID. It was relatively sudden. He had a lot of things against him, like he was overweight, among other things, right? So he basically died on the way to the hospital. He was driving because he didn't feel that bad, uh, but maybe stress and other reasons didn't help, and the fact that he was pretty fat didn't help either. So here's the thing: he had this thing maybe for a long time, and like if you, before you ask me, oh, like they could like fake the test. Okay, number one, the tests are ours, so it's not gonna be faked. They're from Korea. They're 97% effective, and so it's a fact. He had it, and there's no reason for us to lie about it or whatever. So it wasn't government, and we don't have the same thing as the U.S. where it is true, whereas some hospitals, organizations, etc., get more money if they get COVID cases, so they have an incentive, monetary incentive, to lie. We don't. We didn't. In this case, we didn't. So he had it. One of the saving graces of why everyone else who worked with him and lived with him, etc., don't have it is because he did take care of himself. He did wear a mask. What do I mean with that? Like, I'm seeing many memes like, oh, why should you care if I don't wear a mask? Doesn't your mask work? That's not what masks are supposed to do. Masks are supposed to stop your spittle from reaching other people. It doesn't protect you from outside spittle. So, well, unless you have one like mine, like one like these ones, right? So yeah, these will protect me. So you can throw a freaking hose me down with virus basically, and it's not gonna enter my face. Well, don't do it because you know what I mean. I'm hyperbole. But if I wear like a normal mask, like what are these? This one not gonna block me because it can enter my eyes, it can enter my pores. If a droplet comes here, it's gonna trickle down, etc. That's not what it's there for. It's there to stop. I can literally spit, and it's not gonna go through this. That's the point. So it's not to protect you; it's to protect others from you. So that argument, like, oh, doesn't it's not only stupid, misleading, but it's not the point. That's not the point of a mask. And like has been done before during the Spanish flu, Americans all over wore masks. It killed 30 million people or something. So it's okay. Another argument I've heard is that oh, a very low death rate. It's like 1 or 2%. Okay, sure, it's true, but it already beat flu. So just in the U.S., it already beat flu, and it's not even a year yet. The number of flu is for a year. 50 to 60,000 a year. You already have 50 to 60,000 deaths. It wasn't like in 3 months. Right now, it's higher. Okay, you can claim that a part of it is fake, and I agree. But well, let's be generous. Even if it's 50%, it's still higher. Even if it's 1/6, it's still higher, because when you go through the whole year, it's going to be higher. Even if it's 1/10, I think it might be higher. Let's hopefully not, but it might. And another thing about this, okay, oh, sorry, I'm just gonna finish this point. 1% out of a huge number, it's still a freaking huge number. Even 0.1% out of a huge number, it's still a freaking huge number. So that's the thing. I mean, you don't want to be in that position. And again, like it happened to my friend here, there are people who are more at risk because coronavirus doesn't kill you. That part is also true. It's very unlikely that if you only get coronavirus and you only have coronavirus that you will die. It's that one is like 99.99999999999%. So even if you put a huge number besides that, it's going to be what, 1 or 2. That part is true, but many people have previous conditions. And let's be honest in one thing: the U.S. is the fattest country on the planet, and the food that is served there, delicious. I'll tell you. But let's be honest, I go there for like a couple of weeks. I come back with 10 pounds. So what I do before I travel to the States is lose like 15 to gain 20. That's the way it works. So you have a problem of obesity. You have a problem with processed foods and chemicals and all that kind of stuff, which lowers your defenses. You also have the problem of, you get inflammation because of the foods you eat. So when you add all that, and there are many people who have other things, you are at risk. Of course, you're not as bad as where I live in Guatemala, where you will have malaria and tuberculosis in a dormant state. So that is also why we do need hydrochloroquine and other stuff like that, because if we get COVID, that thing will trigger the malaria that we already have. Because, it's very cheap for some Irish guy or some European guy to tell me, oh, don't take that because Trump said it. Okay, that's stupid too. Because we have it. It's not good for you that you haven't seen a mosquito in the last 70 years. We get them 6 months a year. So we have it. And if we get that, we will die. So we do need hydrochloroquine. So as you see, you can be very fair and balanced with the information you have, and it's also contextual. It doesn't have to be like, that's why I'm trying to do this. So then to take away the image that what Michael Rappaport said was fully left-leaning. And I'm going to finish with this one, everyone's favorite, Fauci. I can tell you right now, in my opinion, Fauci is a piece of shit. And I hope things happen to him that I cannot say out loud, because otherwise they will block this video. And I'm even will go as far as to maybe say that he has something to gain by this whole situation. It's amazing. So you could say, oh, it's libel. No. I'm saying it's maybe my opinion. I'm not saying he actually did it. But it's just starting to look that way every freaking time. But when the advice of wearing a mask, it's not his. And that's something to take into account. If Fauci comes out and says 1 + 1 = 2, as much of a piece of garbage that he is, and as much as, you wish the earth swallowed him, or that a xenomorph just pops out of his chest, it doesn't take away the fact that it's true. What do I mean? With the cases of the masks, it has been tried. I'm going to go with the East Asian places. Why? Because there's going to be a reason why I'm going to choose these places. Japan uses it. Korea uses it. Taiwan uses it. China uses it. All the Asian, Asian Southeast nations, all these countries use it. Why do I mention these specifically instead of like saying Europe? If I mention Europe, let's be honest, many of them are pretty left-leaning, crappy, and they have their own issues. Like the Germans never stop being Nazis; they just stop killing Jews and stuff like that. They hide information, they fake stuff like that because officially, there are no rapes in Germany, there are no rapes in Sweden, and stuff like that. So okay, I can understand. So I'm trying to take that away. So then I go to East Asia, where the information is more reliable, at least not only in reality but also in terms of perception. But why do I mention these countries? If I mentioned only one, I'm going to make an example, no offense. Let's say Japan. Oh yeah, but Japan is it's still an occupied country. It's a vassal state, technically true. So then I can't just use them, because then you would say, oh, maybe they're falling in line to some Democrats. Maybe they made a deal, whatever. I mention all these countries because they're very different, and their circumstances are very different, and their position with the U.S. is very different. So, for example, you take Japan and Korea. Culturally, these two cultures hate each other. Like, really hate each other. Like, think Jews and Nazis that much. I mean, if it weren't for the situation of North Korea, if they were united, Japan would be a threat of being nuclearly annihilated by Korea. That much. The fact that these two agree tells you a lot. So then you can come with the argument, oh yeah, but they're both U.S. allies, we can go with the same Japan thing. Okay, perfect. Then what about China and Taiwan? They're other enemies, and their position with the U.S. is totally opposite. It's the polar opposite, Taiwan is more for the right-leaning U.S. president. China is, you can perceive that it's more for the left-leaning U.S. presidents, but it's still the greatest competitor the U.S. has. So, and while the other one is pretty independent, so the fact that these two agree tells you a lot. And we can also finally see the results in these countries which don't have an incentive to lie about it. I mean, Taiwan basically did what should have been done in many countries, including mine, closed its international borders, basically have no cases, and it's open. They only have these as a precaution. So that's the difference. That's where you can see that it's not Fauci's idea. When all these different places, different cultures, enemy politically, enemies and a lot of stuff, competitors economically, all agree on the same thing, there's a reason for that. So I hope this helps, and I hope you take this into account. I would rather not have to see any of you out there have to suffer from the same thing I just did, and I still am. It's still a horrible situation. It's still shocking. Just wear a mask, not to protect you, but to be considerate to others. That's why. And again, I don't like and I don't want anyone to force you. I agree with you on that 100%. But then do it out of the goodness of your heart. It is very, very clear, and any study proves it. People who are right-leaning are immensely more generous than left-leaners. It's like 1,000 to 1 more. I don't know. And it makes sense. When these people want to force you, right-leanings want to do it voluntarily. Okay, do it voluntarily. Not only do it voluntarily, but also charities, because they tend to be more fiscalized. I don't know if that's the correct word. Oversight. There's more oversight on charities. And to be considered a charity, you have to give more directly to the people in need. So not only do they give more, but more of that goes directly to the people in need. Take that same philosophy and apply it to wearing a mask. And again, I agree with you. Because the other side is like trying to be forced to wear a mask. It's like trying to be forced to pay taxes, which most of it goes to corrupt politicians. That's why Bernie Sanders is going on, his 8th home? I don't know. And they're all in a pedo ring, to add that. That's where your taxes go from. And then they just give like the crumbs to certain electorate, and I don't know, don't want to be there. So there you go. What he said was right. The way he expressed it might come off as left-leaning, but right now I gave you the right-leaning position on why you should wear a mask. So please take care of yourselves and wear a mask. Have a great one.